I, Jeetentra Soni, a member of GRFDT, welcomes Professor Vivek Kumar here on behalf of the entire GRFDT team. Professor Vivek Kumar is an eminent sociologist and having command on Dalit diaspora literature. First of all, I just want to ask you a question: how migration is influencing the socio-cultural mosaic of the places of origin and destination?
Look, migration of people. When people migrate, they do not migrate as biological souls. They take their cultural baggage. Cultural baggage means language, literature, food, their habits, as well as their kinship, their marriage pattern. I think they migrate as a total social human being. And once they go, they are not passive recipient. They start interacting with the people. And the people also have their own cultural baggage. So these cultural baggages come in contact with each other, and a new form of culture or some assimilated form of cultural pattern emerges. And that's why we keep on talking about that we don't speak English, we speak Hindi, where actually there's a Hindi touch, or English has a Tamil touch, or a Bengali touch. So that always is a interaction pattern, because culture is not pristine and pure. It gets amalgamated, it gets assimilated, it gets interacted with the other culture, and therefore people influence each other and they produce a very different type of interaction pattern.
Yes. Sir, how do you perceive migration and development relationship?
You know, since inception of the society, I will say a civilized society, people migrate, and you see there are human beings. As the human beings, like animals, like fish, they migrate from one place to another. Birds migrate, insects migrate, and similarly, human beings also migrate. And they migrate because of different reasons. Two reasons have been, pinpointed, underlined. One is because of the push factor, and another is for the pull factor. It's simplistic as that. Certain people think that their conditions are not helpful for their survival, and therefore they migrate. Certain people think that, look, conditions or the pasture is greener the other side, and therefore they migrate for opportunities. So always migration has taken place. It is a normal social fact in sociological parlance. Now, once people migrate, they have their own desires, and they have to fulfill their desire. They have certain goals, and to meet those goals, they form certain networks, they undergo certain changes, and because of that, the parameters of society starts changing. We call it as development. The economic side changes, the social, political, educational, different institutions, they undergo change, and we call that development is taking place. But we usually count development in positive sense of the term. When people have a positive side of the development, there is more happiness, there is more affluence, people have better purchasing power. This is what we think that, migration from one place to another. And any migration, if you see, most of the time, it is because people want more greener pastures. They want for them a very different type of livelihood. Therefore, they migrate. If they want different opportunities, they migrate. And this is what leads to change. And this is what change is also in relationship. So, I think migration is deeply associated with development, especially change in economic, political, social, educational, as well as marriage relationship, and that leads into change in relationship also.
So, do you feel migration gave true representation to the various sections of the society, especially in case of India?
No, I think you have to say you are talking about internal migration.
Yeah.
And when we talk about internal migration, in India, migration, if you take rate of migration is highest from rural to rural.
Yeah.
Why? Because 68% of Indian population still lives in villages, and second, most marriages take place from rural to rural, and third, people, working class, landless laborers, they migrate from one village to the another. So therefore, migration rural to rural is maximum in India, and there is then migration from rural to urban. Of course, urban centers, there are two types of migration. One is natural migration. People migrate because of the reasons which I have told you: economic, political, social, educational, even health, they migrate. But there is a process of, uninduced, there is induced migration also. There are nowadays, small cities which are coming up. They are artificially created conglomerated cities, actually, which are satellite cities.
Yeah.
People make urban dwellings because they want to give certain wealthy people a very lavish type of living, and there is no space in the urban center. So they bring another satellite city. I call it as a induced migration in those cities because there are no jobs in them.
Yeah.
People have to come back to the main centers, and therefore there are different types of migration. Now this, if you take induced migration, I don't think that people get representation there, because that is more of a economical activity, and economical activity in the sense that wealthy people get jobs there, more people, wealthy people will get more housing facilities there, and therefore there is hardly much. Those who can afford, those who are wealthy, they will be in the satellite cities with high rise which are taking place, with malls and other things. But in urban areas where the natural growth is industry, where jobs are there, people find places in slums. Like Delhi, you take example, 70% of Delhi lives in slums. And there are, in slums, no facilities, and therefore migration creates problem of education, problem of health, problem of jobs, even problem of relationship. Because 70 to 80%, if they are migrants, the population is not permanent, and therefore they do not have a relationship. So you will say that individuals are alone, lonely individuals you will find, and that is a problem, that there is no representation. There is no representation as far as jobs are concerned, as education is concerned, health facilities are concerned, even relationship is concerned, and therefore migration creates problem of relationship as well as representation.
See, what you have mentioned just now, that the centers are not having proper pull, right? But still the people are coming there, and they are accepting to be the part of the slum population. So in this case, what are the factors which are pushing them from their origin?
It's a very good and profound question which you have asked, that even though there are no facilities in the urban centers, and even then people feel a pull factor. That means that at the local level, at their dwelling, things are so bad. There are so miserable condition of living that they are forced to go, even if they think that there will be little bit of light, and they will get even little bit of chance. For example, if these 4 megapolis in India, Bombay or Mumbai, Kolkata, Madras, Delhi, and now you will have Hyderabad and also Bengaluru. Now, these are the hubs where the process, especially I'm talking about after globalization, 1990s, all these software industries are located and people are attracted towards because they think that look, there will be a chance. All the good colleges, Delhi has 80 colleges and therefore people migrate to Delhi in terms of doing their graduation. In different states, sessions are not running in time. The quality of teaching is not there, and therefore people migrate to the centers even if they think that there is a little bit of hope. So, you cannot say that people are migrating if there are no room, but people are migrating even if they think that things are a little bit better comparatively. So, in comparison, I think things are bad, miserable, and of course draconian in certain parts of the country, and therefore, like people from Northeast, they do not have number of facilities, and therefore you will find a diaspora of Middle East, a diaspora of Bihar within the country in different states, and you will find Middle East people everywhere in Pune, in Chandigarh, in Delhi, even in South. Very recently in Bangalore, everywhere you will find these people because they are thinking of the opportunity even if they have got little bit good opportunity. And I think education and job are two very important opportunities which are not there at the local level, and that's why people are, having this migration.
Sir, what do you think the changing dynamics of Indian society does to the diasporic society? As we know, diaspora carry many social practices from the place of origin to the host countries.
One thing is for sure that India has one of the biggest diaspora after China, 25 million people in our diaspora, and in that, 5-6 states dominate in that. Out of identity, Punjabi diaspora is the most dominant. Then Gujarati diaspora, from the very beginning, they dominate. The third is the Telugu diaspora, the Tamil diaspora, and the North Indian diaspora. They all are existing. I'm talking about Bihar and UP together. But Punjabi and Bengali diaspora, of course, since very beginning has dominated. So six or seven type of diaspora, they migrate. But who were the people who migrated initially? And I'm reminded of, say, from 1874-64 when the migration, the indentured labor started and stopped in 1920s. Now till then, the poor people migrated.
Yeah.
The old diaspora, which we call, it is they who migrated and migrated to different parts of the world, especially to West Indies, to South Africa, Malaysia, Mauritius, Suriname, Sri Lanka, all these places. Now, what happened? These people went and they tried to have their own community. Fiji, they were actually in great in numbers and they tried to influence and they had the interaction with the local population. But what has happened over the years, the Malaysia diaspora, the old diaspora, has done very well because actually the development, the lower level development, people moved from plantation to conservancy. And this is the study by R.K. Jain, who's, that plantation worker revisited. He talked about that those people who migrated from plantation to conservancy, they have done very well. And because they got ready-made and the regular income, and therefore they have done very well in Malaysia. Similarly, in Fiji, Indians did very well, but the local rule, they have just done away with that domination because India being dominant, second dominant population, the people started having political power and they had their president as well. But after that, actually it was eliminated. But after 60s and 70s, the literate population of India started going to especially the first world countries, especially UK, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and here these were educated people. And they were technically educated people also. And therefore what happened, they started dominating their health services, the education services.
IT services?
And no, that is 1990. So I'm saying that 60s, there was a different type of migration where people went and tried to have their own independent educated. So their identities started changing. Earlier in London, they were understood as coolies only because that was the job they did. And a very good film, Desh Pradesh, has shown that how the coolies, illegal migrants. Now, that is one aspect of the identity, and that is one type of influence which people have got. Now, in USA, they are all hoteliers. 1960s, they are hoteliers, they are taxi drivers, they are not doctors and engineers, but 1990s made a very different difference. Yeah, 1990s, there's the globalization, industrial, the IT revolution, and India becomes the fulcrum around which, Silicon Valley revolved. And Silicon Valley people from India, IT sector started by 95, 96, maximum people from India, they were in IT sector and they still are around the Silicon Valley. And therefore, a very different type of influence in US started. In Canada, again, actually, the Sikh migrants, they still are and they remain. In Middle East, the oil boom, 70s, attracted working class. So there, the migrants are of different quality, education-wise and quantity. But gradually in Middle East, Dubai and others, engineers and educators all started. I did a little bit of fieldwork in Dubai. Then I found that actually a very new type of center is emerging in Dubai and Middle East, where engineers, educators, health practitioners, business people, all are there, and working class. The barrack people are also there, the manual laborers are there, the fitters are there. And very recently, a Punjabi person who was there as once upon a time a plumber has become minister in Punjab. And that is the aura. Now, if you see this whole range of diaspora, the old diaspora, the new diaspora of 60s and 70s, and the new diaspora of 1990s, and the laboring diaspora of the Middle East, they have their own culture. They have tried to influence the economy, polity of the particular area where they have gone, and we are seeing Bobby Jindal, we are seeing many Indians, Kalpana Chawla, Williams, all are doing very different. And then we have very different projection of diaspora in Britain. And one film is very, very representative of that identity. I start from Pura question. We had a tug of war of West and East culture in Pura question. That is 70s. Then 80s we have Desh Pradesh, where we are talking about identity as coolie. Then we have actually 2000 Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. Before that we have Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, a small petty shopkeeper who comes and has fixation for India. But we have Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, where a diaspora person has a big bungalow and is driving Ferrari, and he is in communication directly with the local, and father is reaching to London as if it is next door. Nobody is told. But we also have in 2000 Singh is King. The whole diaspora identity, sing this king, that means Indians are mafia also.
Yeah.
So this is the evolution of identity, and that's where Namaste London, Pride and Prejudice, all these, Belted Like Beckham, all these films depict that how Indians in diaspora have affected the culture of the local residing people. And you go to Wolverhampton, you will find a Ambedkarite statue also. Ambedkar statue and Ravidasi Gurdwara and Valmiki temple in South Hall. So all these things reflect that Indians have gone there and they have really made their own niche and they have their own independent identity with their own symbols and culture.
So, one question related to this only. In this entire 2-3 century the migration pattern from India, so in this period, India passed through various social dynamics. So, is there influence of this kind of change in India on the diaspora community also?
Yeah, of course. I think change is a two-way process because individuals are not passive recipients. They always try to solve their problems rationality. That's what Max Weber suggested, that individual is a thinking being. Human being is a thinking being, and they try to solve their problem through rationality. What is rational for them? So when India accepted globalization in 1990, that is the marker thing, India opened their gates for different parts of the world, and that created Indians to interact with the other people. Now what happened that the old diaspora was already there, 1960 diaspora was already there, people were interacting, but there were no channels. But after 1990, information revolution ushered, there were cheap conveyance method. The flights were very cheap now, and also the amount of money, the foreign exchange was increased, that you can take this much of money abroad and you can bring it. There were MNCs, and of course there was Silicon Valley. All were calling them to come to the greener pastures. Now people in India changed their own orientation. So earlier, in IITs, the most accepted trade of education was, say, electrical. Now it was computers, softwares. So people started training themselves. Management, foreign management. So these people started going to not only Silicon Valley, but also went to Lehman Brothers. Actually, they started going to MNCs.
Yeah.
So a different type of interaction pattern with reduced rates of calling, as well as conveyance, and social websites. You can talk now on WhatsApp. You can also talk on, say, with palm tops. You can talk on. You can have very video conferencing also. So all this has become so easy for interacting the whole world, and that has given diaspora a new visibility. And because of that, they have oriented themselves to be accepted in different types. Now, in multinational corporations, jobs can be given specifically on the basis of networks. So people from local areas, they have their networks and they call their own near and dears. And why it is easy for industries to treat to this type of labor. Otherwise, it's very difficult because laws in MNCs are very stringent and local laws are also very stringent, from minimum wages to hours of working, all are stipulated. But when you have informal relationship with the worker, you can ask, okay, I'm laying down today, come tomorrow, and you can do it. So that all clubbed together has brought not only change, at the international level, but the local has also changed, and that local is reflected in what we call as, a process called transnationalism.
Yes. Yeah.
Earlier, things were constructed and constituted at this level, local level. Suppose I am here, things were final and crystallized. Institutions were crystallized. And things were crystallized at the other end also, in diaspora.
Yeah.
So this were there. But now what is happening? Things get, crystallized in to and from motion.
Yeah.
You never know what is going to come next. And that is what is transnationalism. Things get crystallized into, I am here, he is there, but we are both interacting at third place.
Yeah.
So that is also giving birth to certain institutional mechanism. That is what is called transnationalism, which is the fruit of process of globalization, migration and development.
Yeah. Why do you think there is an irony? Even when diaspora lives and works in foreign countries and gain economic advantage, they still carry the heavy caste system.
Yeah, you see that what happens when people, I told you in the very beginning, when people migrate, they do not migrate only biological soul, they migrate with their own cultural baggage. And caste is one of the most ancient institutions with which people have survived.
Mm-hmm.
Now, caste is not only a evil institution, but it is also enabling institution. People of similar caste, they flock together. They get cushion when they are in alien places.
Yeah.
They do not have any other avenue to interact. There are no institutions or institutional mechanism to help them. So people find solace in their own, group. And caste being a natural group of which they are a member, and therefore they start resurrecting that institution again. So caste is, has both the edge. One, it is basically a draconian institution. It excludes people, but it is also enabling institution which includes people, and it gives cushion to the people when they are in alien place and they are facing alienation. So it is positive for them, and therefore you see they have tried to maintain the caste. Now, second thing is that once they migrate, it is important that people, what is caste? Caste is nothing but a process by which endogamy is capitalized.
Yeah.
Endogamy, I'm saying that marrying within the same group. Now what happens? Then people migrate. They cannot marry outside. They need a spouse, and we have seen in number of books, number of articles, in number of novels, number of cinemas, that people want to marry their children in India, and most probably in their own
Locality.
kinship,
Yeah.
or you can say in their own caste. Now, this is because of that people, when they migrate abroad, they are at loss of culture. They are at loss of their own identity. Now, if they think that if I marry my own children outside, then I will lose that as well. My culture will be gone. So they want and they come back. Like I was talking about Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. In America, there is a film called Ab Laut Chale. All are coming back. Namaste London. All are coming back. They want to marry their sons and daughters in their own region, religion, and caste. And therefore, I say caste is kicking in life. Caste has gone from real to virtual. You go to shadi.com, matrimony.com, where, the spouses are sought on the basis of caste, subcaste, subcaste. And that is where diaspora is relying on these websites, and also the newspapers, the local versions of national newspapers in diaspora. They all are carrying matrimonial columns, and the matrimonial columns will suggest you that spouses are sought on the basis of caste, subcaste, and sub-subcaste, and therefore caste is alive and kicking in diaspora.
So, do you mean that this system they are carrying because of the fear of marginalization at the larger extent, as well as a tool for affiliation or assimilation in the new place?
No, definitely they feel alienated.
Mhm.
When you migrate to an alien place, you do not have a ready-made group to interact with. You are alienated. You do not have also sometimes economic security. You do not have social security. So where will you go? You will go to only that first place where you think that you are confident enough to get this security, economic security, social security, emotional security, and therefore you think that, oh, I eat the same way, I have lived with the same way, I'm from the same region, so I will go there, and therefore, it is a enabling group in which you want to be a member, and therefore caste becomes a very, very important institution for giving people solace, giving them, emotional help when they are in distress in diaspora.
Sir, what is your observation on the global migration trends and processes in post-liberalization era?
I think it has increased. The rate has increased like anything because there are demands, there are MNCs. Also, there is a cheap conveyance. It is also more visibility.
Mhm.
There is affluence as well in India, and that's why you see affluence in India means that you are getting packages for going for holidays.
Mhm.
I have never heard in my life that I will go to abroad, I will go to Singapore to spend my 2 days or 3 days, in a holiday. But now different companies, travel agencies give you packages that for 2 days go to Malaysia, 2 days go to Singapore, 2 days for here or Dubai or somewhere, which is actually a consolidated package of meals as well as air travel as well as hotel. So in that sense, I think affluence within the country and also the new liberal economy, which has brought lot of money in different types of, also companies, the MNCs will give you these packages. They have also enabled you that, okay, I will not give you this of money, but I will give you this package, and the package will also include that you go and have a holiday. And here the whole group, company go in a group.
Mhm.
And they go and enjoy. So I think with the new liberal economy, the migratory pattern, you can say I will get circulation also.
Mhm.
One person goes, say 2 days and come back after 2 days. MNCs, people one day are here in Asia, and the second in there in Africa, and then in there in Latin America, and then they are in Europe. So I think that is a fast circulation because of conveyance and transportation as well. So I think the new liberal economy has increased the rate of migration and also semi-permanent migration and circulation.
Can India take advantage of demographic dividend in terms of migration dividend?
There are both the ways. One, definitely India has dividend, especially demographic dividend, because its population, 65% of population is under 35, and they have both the issues. They have trained manpower, which is going to Silicon Valley, but they also have carpenters and others, carpenters, cobblers, plumbers, and masons who are traveling to Middle East as laborers. So they both have this occupation, but the only thing is that how to facilitate this idea. I have come across that the labor class who comes from Middle East, they are ill-treated. They do not get a sufficient minimum wages. When they come, they are exploited at the airport. When they come from airport, they are outside, they are exploited there at their home. And they do not know where to invest the money. So first thing they will do, they will erect their houses and they will buy a car. But that money is not invested in for reproduction certain asset, which
Productive
is
assets.
productive assets, and it gets consumed. So people are in perpetual, bringing the money, spending them, and then again going. I don't think that that is any productive asset which is being created. Second thing, people who have gone abroad, from the liberated class or the educated class, if you see the investment in those classes, you spend crores of rupees in training a engineer, software engineer, or a management expert. But what is the remittance which you are getting out of them if they go away from here and they are going with green cards, they become permanent residents, citizens there. So I think India loses as well. Now you have to maintain a balance, that how many people they are trained, they are engineers, they are doctors, they are management experts, they are professors, how much you have invested in them, and they go and serve the other country. I think a balance has to be maintained, and things are good. For example, the amount of money which parents are spending on educating their wards in Australia, America, USA, and of course the Canada and UK is enormous. Why can't we give this world-class facility at home? Or why can't we invite them here to open their own universities?
This would be a very good idea to engage the second generation also.
I think actually we've saved a lot of foreign remittances.
Yeah.
But that is actually not right now on the government's agenda. The government has a very different agenda, and that agenda is development of entrepreneurship rather than development of education.
Thank you, Professor Vivek Kumar, for sharing your valuable views with us and sparing valuable time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish GRFDT all the best, and I wish them that their endeavor in this development of stream of diaspora is successful, and they should be a leading light in this diaspora studies.
Thank you. Thank you.